Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner. It is Friday. It is the 15th of March, and as usual we start off with S&P 500. Again, yesterday tried to push higher from the opening, but sellers are still in control. So the top and reversal pattern here, bearish engulfing, is still intact. But I would like to see it breaking below the closing below the rising trend line before I will look at 5,055, which is the key support. And close below that, then we are in a bearish trend. For now, we are still holding on. Nasdaq 100 also opened a little bit higher, but couldn't really hold it. Close to be testing the lower rising trend line, and 17,808 is the key support to look out for. European markets has been doing better than the US markets the past week or so, but we are still above this rising trend line here. But it seems to maybe a little bit of a negativity coming in here yesterday, so let's see if we can actually get a correction out of it. The divergence is still really pronounced here, but again, stay with a trend. And what we can also do, we can add a little bit and say, okay, we have a little bit of a support around here, just below 4,900. DAX index, also a negative one yesterday, but we have seen it before when the market moved higher, so we should stick with the uptrend for now, and that's where we are. Support 17,620. Keep an eye on that one. Amsterdam index still trading in this rising channel here, so for now it looks fairly okay. But if it does break out to the downside, well, then we could see a sell-off down to 837 and this gap area right here. The CAC 40 has been really strong, but see what it did yesterday. A shooting star or a gravestone doji. I mean, those two can be a little bit hard to differentiate. I mean, a gravestone doji, opening, closing, almost the same price. It should be within cents or pennies from each other. Here there's about 3 euros or something. So you can argue that is also the case here. Or we have a shooting star. So that's it could be a top reversal, but so if we get a negative day today, that could be a top reversal. However, we do not have a divergence on the RSI, I believe. Let's just check here. No, we do not. So it is actually indicating higher levels for the CAC 40. Finally, the Swiss market, and here we have to look at the weekly chart. Got rejected at 11,800, which was this little peak over here. It was not the other ones here, so that's quite interesting. We could see a little bit of setback down to 11,600, but we are in an uptrend both daily and weekly. Looking at euro dollar, it is a little bit frustrating at the moment, I will say. And sorry for adding all these Fibonacci levels here, but it is interesting how it actually does touch some of them. We have the testing being rejected at 61.8 here at the 109.70. Being pushed down back to the 38.2 at 108.70, which is 38.2 of this uptrend here. And there is downside risk to the 61.8 at 108.04, just a little bit above this key strong support here at around 108. And the reason for all this frustration in euro dollar, I would say, is because we have the 55 moving average coming down, but we have the 100 and 200 rising here. So there's a little bit of conflict between short, medium term and longer term underlying trends that is colliding really around these levels. So we could end up seeing euro dollar being stuck between 108 and 110. Just a lot of volatility around here until it finds a direction. I think the direction will be up, but we could still see a little bit of a setback before that move is going to occur. Cable selling off a little bit at 38.2 retracement, but I think we could see a move down to 127 to test that. RSI is showing bullish sentiment, so we should see cable pushing higher towards 129, 130. Dollar yen on the move. key resistance 149.17 around here. We have the 61.8 and we have some resistance, so that's likely to be tested possibly today. If it can break above and close above, then I think we will also change the whole narrative or the whole strange scenario down here on the RSI to being positive or bullish, and then there's room to move up to 150, 151, possibly 52 again. If it's being rejected, well, then it will probably just trading sideways for a little while. Euro yen also pushing higher. I think we'll test the 61.8 at 162.38. Well, we have the 21 moving average giving a little bit of resistance, not much, but we are in a positive sentiment, and we have broken above this falling trend line, as you can see here. Can we get it back above 60? Well, then there is upside potential, further upside potential for Euro yen. Aussie yen range trading between 98.20 and 96.86. Expect that for a little while, but look out for a breakout to either side. I do believe it'll be to the upside, but of course there are no guarantees here. Sterling yen 187.86. If we can get back above 190, and I think we will see that we have the RSI above the falling trend line and back above 60, then we are seeing some further upside. I do apologize about the noise in the background, but I'm sitting in an open landscape office, so there are of course some other meetings going on around me. I do hope you can forgive me for that, but it's easier to shoot these videos from my desk where I have all the equipment instead of doing it in our studio. It's a little bit tricky. All right, let's move on to Aussie dollar. Really, Aussie dollar frustrating here. It's around 200 moving average, and I think we can remove these lines here because it's a little bit. Sometimes it's frustrating. You can't really find a direction for an FX pair, and in this case, I am a little bit unsure what's going to happen here. And then sometimes the best trade you can do is the one you don't do, and this is the case here. I think I will wait a little bit to see what we are actually doing. You see, there's no real trend. I mean, we have lower lows and lower highs. Sorry, we have higher highs and higher lows, but it can't really get its mojo together and get some uptrend. And the reason for this is the 55, like the euro dollar. Also, we have the 55 declining and we have the 100 moving rising. So there is some conflict going on there. Dollar Canada seems to be taking off here, moving higher. I think we will see a move up to 136 and possibly test these peaks here from a couple of weeks ago. After being rejected at the support here, bouncing off the support at 134.40. The dollar index bouncing also, but also a little bit frustrating to say. We have the 100 moving average and the 200 coming down here, so the downside pressure should resume with a potential down to test the 61.8 at 102. Moving on to the metals, we have gold trading sideways here for the past few days after hitting the 21.95. There's still a correction risk down to 21.34, 21.15 possibly, but we are in an uptrend. It should resume uptrend fairly soon, but for now a little bit of sideways trading. If it takes out the peak here, well, then we're looking at 22.30, possibly higher. Silver resistance and 26 in this uptrend. Still a risk that will test 24 again, but I think we'll see it moving to 26. On the other metals that are quite interesting, the platinum can't really get its momentum upside here, but excuse me. If we can close above the cloud level here, we see above 950, then maybe we could get a little bit of upside push. Where we have the upside push is on palladium. It has reached the 61.8 projection of this shoulder-head shoulder, inverted shoulder-head shoulder pattern here, and I think we will see it moving up to higher to the 786, possibly all the way up to 1160 level, where we have the 200 moving average coming down, adding some resistance. On the weekly chart, we have copper pushing towards 420, 430 level. Really strong push after this break of the 400 level. So that's it's really on a roll at the moment, and it seems to be looking higher. The WTI crude oil closed well above the key resistance that has been tested quite a few times here at 79.77, 82.56. There's some resistance, but we could see a move up to around 84, potentially higher, but it will be slow. It is still quite heavy, but we are in a slightly rising trend with higher highs and higher lows. Brent closed above 84.75, now testing it from the other side, but we are in a bullish trend. We could see a move up to 87.35. It's not the strongest one, but it has broken out. 87.35 is the key resistance. And finally, on the US Treasuries, US 10-year Treasuries, that broke the 420, but also here we can see that the 100 moving average coming down. We have the 55 coming up. So there's again, as we talked about with your dollar, cable and others, there's this clash between the short to medium term and longer term trends. We have the 200 moving average slightly rising. So expect a little bit of a setback to around 420. And I think we will be trading in this range here between 405, 420, 430 for the next few days into next week, possibly longer, until it gets a little bit of clear direction moving these trend lines around.